Oh, there we go. Overcast and cool. But what we've got is sheep, electric bicyclists, horse riders, and me on the way to the supermarket. I was expecting oh, it's got a bit windy. I was expecting a message from somebody giving me I was expecting a message from somebody giving me a timetable for this evening, but it hasn't turned up yet. It's nearly 12 o'clock. If I'm going to be working late tonight, I want to get a bit of a lie down. Out for now anyway. Well, hello. You can see my little voice thing on there now. A couple of false starts. I'm back up where I'm staying after my walk today. 5 miles, 5.4 miles. Sounds doesn't sound like a great deal, but like I say, after all the problems I've been having with my legs, it's quite an achievement, to be honest. And the legs are okay pretty much all the way around. I started to feel it a little bit at the end, and surprisingly enough, now that I've stopped, it's all starting to get a little bit sort of achy wakey and all that sort of thing. But I was sat around and I thought, right, I'm going to get up and I'm going to walk a little. I put on my training shoes, so I got rid of the boots, and I'm just going to walk down to the pond and have a look around the estate. It's a nice evening. It was threatening all day. It was supposed to be going to be drizzly and horrible, but it turned out to be okay, so quite pleased with myself. How this is going to work out tomorrow, I don't know. I'm supposed to be going to go and try and work on Friday, Saturday and Sunday, do some work, go in, which will mean me sat around for, basically hanging around and waiting around, and sat around for a while. And I'm not too keen on that, because of course I want to keep the legs going, because I want to keep the circulation going. That's basically what I'm doing here, really. Is trying to keep the legs going, trying to keep the circulation going, making sure that they go back to normal after their little, well, temper tantrum or whatever it was. Yeah, that's it. I'm just the evenings are getting longer and my legs were aching, so I thought, right, get up, get your tracksuits on, get your training shoes on, and just go and have a walk around the estate. Because I said I'd have a walk around, and that's basically what I'm doing. Oh. These last couple of weeks have been difficult, but I suppose it would be difficult no matter what, specifically because of basically the legs been so painful. But I should imagine even if I hadn't had the bit of drama with my legs, the chances are it would still be difficult, just because I'm overweight and I haven't been training, I haven't been walking, I haven't been doing the basics for a long time. So all in all, I think it's been a real success. yeah, in the sort of way that going to the dentist and at the end of the dentist, been to the dentist for some nasty procedure, when it's all over, you think, well, it's a success. I've done it. You know, I've done it. And hopefully that'll be the end of the thing. But, you know, hard. I should have done this. Well, I've let myself, all this lockdown and stuff, I'd let it get to the stage where really I was very far gone. But I did have the good sense not to go rushing to the doctor. I had a fairly good idea of what it's about. It's about a question of being overweight. It's a question of being, I suspect, pre-diabetic. Question of carrying a lot of weight and not even doing normal daily exercise. So I think it's all of that. I looked at it and I thought that, and I thought, if I go to the doctors, what's going to happen? Likelihood I'll be put on some sort of, they might even put me into the hospital. I might be in anti-inflammatories, and then I might be on a pathway to medicine and all of this stuff. And yeah. And then I might have just accepted the fact that, well, you know, you've got this problem with your legs and, you know, you need to take this medication and blah, blah, blah. And it's going to get worse. And, you know, what do you expect from your lifestyle has caused this? So anyway, fearful of that. I've tried to do as much as I can first. The plan was do as much as I can, so at least if I end up being forced to go to seek medical help, go to the doctor, I can at least say, well, I've done this and I've done that, and this is what I've done, this is how I've done it. I'm too old, I'm afraid, to allow myself to just let fitness slide, because it's now at the stage where, sunset, now at the stage where if I go backwards 3 yards, I'm never going to, matter how much I try, I'm never going to make that 3 yards up again. I might make the 2, I might make the 1, but I'm not going to get back the fitness level, because age is starting to catch up on me now. I should be able to do a lot better than I am at the moment. I should be able to. I know people who are in far better shape than me in their 80s, so there's no real reason for it. Partly it's a diet and weight thing. I really do need to do some swimming as soon as this lunacy is over. We can get into the gym. I'm going to have to start a system of swimming again, trying to get back up to at least be able to do a good few lengths of crawl, a good few lengths of breaststroke, and do that. Right, what I'm going to do now is turn the camera around. Ooh. This is the old hall. like I said at one time, Mr. Danny LaRue bought it, we're invested in it. Nice building, some stained glass there. And over here, that'd make a great old-fashioned tea rooms. Maybe it is when it's open. What's left of the garden isn't the biggest. There are a couple of other nice country estates around here. One of them is an art gallery that I've seen and is open. For some reason, I don't know whether they've got offices in there as well as the art gallery, but I might have a look at that. There's a bar. Hopefully one day, as I'm not drinking at the moment, but hopefully one day I'll be able to sit in there in the sun. That's that footbridge which the other day, the footbridge over there the other day, I got to it. And found that it was there we go, and found that it was closed, and I had to walk back. Whoa, there we go. As I man, see, when you go in the zoom, all the movement in your hand, all the shaking and everything goes right up, doesn't it? Back out, and that's it. So that's hopefully one day. It's not the poshest looking bar, is it? But maybe in the future. This is a part of it I haven't seen. That's obviously the lawn. Croquet. Oh yeah. Very nice altogether. Very nice altogether. Little pad. Even today there was some people in here doing a conference or something. Not in this part of it, in the more modern part, around the other side. I hadn't really been up this close to it. Some nice stonework there. Yeah, very impressed. There's a group of people over there, so I'm going to stay clear of them. Yeah, very nice altogether. And then as you get to the end here, modernised extension and the hotel, and it claims to be a spa, so I imagine it has a swimming pool. I've seen a building which may be a pool. In fact, I think that's out there. That might be it here. So there you go. Very nice. Somewhere to stay, somewhere quiet. Gave gave me the opportunity to walk each day. This camera isn't as stabilised as I would like. And there, it's not the most stable. I'm not using a gimbal with it. I've basically got it on a tripod, which I'm hoping will give it enough weight to keep it stable a bit. It's not working though, I don't think. But there you go. So here's another part of it. So sheep. The wealth of England as it used to be. Wool. Right. Now, I'm not mistaken, I don't know how big this thing is, but I'm hoping this is just, I've gone round in a circle, I think. The gardens are nice, but I think it's the corporates that have been in a corporate way. You know, they haven't had the TLC of an owner. This here is a gym, part of it. I'm a good few months away from doing that, apart from the bicycles. The cycles might be a good thing. I think if I go up there, I can get back to the front of the hotel. Yeah, this is the garden area. I don't think I'm supposed to be back here, but I believe that up the top here, back to the front of the hotel. So there we go. A quick walk around the place. It's obviously not at its best. It hasn't got the staff. It hasn't got the people here. But it's got a number of bars, it's got a number of facilities. It's still doing these. It's still doing some work because they've had groups in doing bits and pieces. So there you go. I'll walk around the hotel. Stroke estate. Yeah, this is the front of it. This thing is really beginning to wear down on people now. Everybody I've talked to seems to be sick to death of this lockdown. Talking to the guy in the golf course today, we were talking about the number of country pubs that we've seen that They're not going to open up again. They're not going to open again. A lot of them. If you've got money, as in cash money, and you're thinking of by cash money I mean money you can buy the buildings outright now, and you can also afford to do the renovations and the putting in the rooms and putting in the kitchens and that. I think in the future you'll make money out of it as a long-term investment, as a family investment for your family and for the future, next few generations. Now would be the time to buy a couple of these places and make yourself a little country pub magnet. But you will need some serious money. Down where I was, down there in the Cotswolds, you know, a garage, the side of a house will cost you an arm and a leg. But some of them are obviously, they're never going to open up as just pubs. And some of them are so big, I mean, they just crying to be turned into the kind of place where you can go. I don't know why they don't do it over here with the walking weekends and stuff like that. I mean, if you can rent the room out for a tenner or £20 in the, you know, like the albergues in France, where people come along with their car and they've got their boots and they've got their gear, and all they want is, they do it in Dartmoor, and all they really want is somewhere to lie down, sort of like a youth hostel type place. But at the end of the day, they're not usually completely broke, but at the end of the day they're going to go out and do their walks, they're going to come back to the pub, they're going to go in there, and if there's 4 or 5 of them, they're going to drink beer, tell stories, argue about politics, sing a few songs if you can get somebody in to start the music going, and they'll and you can make them work. But I think now pubs in Britain, the ideal thing is to have the 3. Yeah, you need the 3 things, and that is, you need a well-run bar. You might get away with a pub if you've got a well-run bar with good beer and it's reasonably cheap. Yeah, so a good bar, real ale pub, something like that. But if you want to survive, you have to do food. So the next thing is food. So if you've got decent beer and decent food, now you can do this in many ways. You can have good pub grub, traditional pub grub, and then you can have pub gourmet food, you know, where you, let's just call it pretentious pub food, which is just that little bit extra. Or you can do what some pubs do, which is you go full on gourmet and you say, right, this is food, this is a food pub. You can come in here and buy beer, but if you're having a meal, yeah, it is going to cost you city restaurant prices. There used to be a place called the Duck in the Pond in, what's it called? Long Itchington. And that had a fantastic reputation. You could go in there and have a beer and you could have a decent with your family, but you could also go in there and eat seriously well and buy serious wine and have a real top quality experience, as well as, and across the road from that was another place called the Buck, and that place there was also good food. So those 2 things, they're the basics really. You either have to have top quality pub, a good pub with top quality beer, possibly what they call it, real ales, so you get the reputation and the real ale people will come. Then on top of that you need the food, and then you can do the food, and you can get people in by the quality of your food, and you'll get people coming out. You know, people who are retired will drive, if you can do it properly, people will drive out there on a Monday and Tuesday to go for a meal there, and maybe go for a bit of a walk and have a meal in your pub on those weekdays when people aren't drinking in the traditional sense. And then finally, rooms. If you can have some sort of place for people to stay, they will stay. And that doesn't mean that it has to be fantastic. You could put yourself out as like an albergue. You can do, it's a walk-in hotel. We do, youth hostel style accommodation with bunk beds and things like that. You can probably even get accredited from the Youth Hostel Association and stuff like that. Just to get, because then you'll have 4 people in there, and if those 4 people are in there, they're going to possibly, most likely, eat in your pub restaurant, and they're probably going to drink in your pub restaurant. And if you're making 20 quid from each of them a night, or 20 quid a night out of it, you're paying for the electricity. So the ideal thing is to have all 3. Basically a traditional British inn, because an inn was meant to be, or what they called in France, a relays. It was supposed to be a place where you had drink, you had food, and you also had a place to crash out for the evening. So that was what an inn was supposed to be. And now, if you want to be successful, I think what you have to do is you have to have, at the very least, in the countryside, you have to have at least the first 2. You might get away in a village where they've got a market or something going on, a lot of tourists passing by. You might get away with just the one, which is the pub with decent beer and that, because you've got the footfall, because you've got something touristy nearby. But otherwise, you need the food at the very least. I think you'd even get away with it. You could turn yourself into a B&B type place where there's a walking pub and just have the couple of rooms there, bunk beds, that type of thing. Make sure everybody knows what they're paying for and what to expect when they turn up. That's one of the things I've learned in the past. People are willing to put up. They're quite happy if they know what they're going to get. And if you say, well, we're here as a walking pub, we provide basic accommodation, and it's bunk beds, and we do the same sort of thing as the Youth Hostel Association does, so we're only charging you so much a night, and then we'll give you breakfast at 6 in the morning, which is what they do in Dartmoor. We'll give you an early breakfast. It's worth going there just for the breakfast. We'll give you an early breakfast, and then you can go out and do your day's walk. And when you come back in the evening, well, we won't have even if you haven't got a big kitchen or something, you say, well, we'll get food in for you. You can ring ahead. There's all sorts of things you can do to cover the food side of it, especially in Warwickshire. You can ring, what do you want, Indian or Chinese? Give them a menu, and most of the places around here will deliver, often for free. So there we go. That's my little talk. It's very sad. If you have got a good few million and you want to come over, this is the time to buy these places up now, gut them out. But you will need to turn them into, do all 3 with them. Find the big buildings, gut them out, and turn them. The thing is, it's what I would do. If I was struggling to rent places out for the weekends or whatever in a hotel thing, I'd offered it to some of the locals as lodgings. You might even be as well to do that. I know that there's some places over in Northampton, and the guy in the pub, he has some lodgers in the room in the pub, because they've got a big warehouse nearby. They've got lots of young Eastern European guys, so there are ways of doing it. But it needs a little bit of thought and a little bit of, you need your own money, because you can't afford to get into debt. Because if you're carrying debt and one of these pubs now, and you haven't got the facilities, no, it's not going to happen. We'll have to go back to what we used to do in the Empire days. Go away, send a lot of men and soldiers overseas, conquer worlds. They come back with big bags of cash, plunder from the Spanish or the French or whoever, and they got cash to buy these places, build them up, and set them up without any debt of their own. Anyway, that's it for now. Been a good day. Did my walk earlier on. That was really good. Out for now.